Level 1. The Chimpira. You're a street punk, a nobody. Your office is the entrance to an underground pachinko parlor. Your job? Simple. Stay loud, look scary, and don't get killed. You spend your nights shaking down tourists who wandered too far into the red light district. You take their wallets, kick them in the ribs, and hand 90% of the cash to a man you've never met. You keep the other 10% for cigarettes and cheap ramen. The police know your face. They don't arrest you, not yet. You're too small to be worth the paperwork. But the rival gangs, they don't need paperwork. You sleep with a kitchen knife under your pillow because you know that in this world, being expendable is a death sentence. You're waiting for the call, the moment a real Aniki, a big brother, notices you have the stomach for the real work. Until then, you're just a ghost in a tracksuit waiting for your life to begin, or end. Level 2. The Kumi Inn. You've survived the streets. Your toughness caught the eye of a local boss, and now you're invited into the family. But you don't just walk in. You find an oyabun, a father figure, and perform the sakazuki. You share a cup of sake, a ritual that severs your ties to your real family forever. From this moment on, your boss's word is the only law. You aren't a person anymore. You are a tool of the syndicate. But don't expect a suit and a gun yet. As a Kumi-in, you are a professional servant. You spend 12 hours a day mopping floors, cooking meals for the senior members, and doing the laundry. You are the first to wake up and the last to sleep. It's a test of your ego. If you can't handle a mop, they know you can't handle a weapon. When you aren't cleaning, you're a human shield. You stand outside the office door in the freezing rain, watching for police or rival hitmen. You learn to read every face on the street. You learn that in this life, silence is your best friend and loyalty is more expensive than gold. You receive your first mark. A small koi fish is tattooed onto your shoulder. It represents a fish swimming upstream. It's a symbol of your struggle. The pain of the needle is nothing compared to the path ahead. But for the first time in your life, you finally belong to something powerful. Level 3. The Chate. The cleaning is over. You've proven you can follow orders without question. Now you're promoted to Chate, the younger brother. You're assigned to an Aniki, a senior member, who will show you how the family actually makes its money. You've traded your tracksuit for a cheap suit. You are now the face of the organization on the streets. You go door to door to bars, clubs, and illegal gambling dens to collect protection money. It's a simple trade. They pay the family and you make sure no one else breaks their windows. You are the muscle. When a business owner thinks they can stop paying, you are the one sent to remind them why that's a mistake. You learn to be cold. You learn that fear is a more effective currency than cash. For a while, you feel untouchable. But the higher you climb, the harder you fall. You make a mistake. Maybe you lost a shipment of precursor chemicals, or maybe you attracted too much heat from the police. In the Yakuza, an apology isn't spoken, it's paid for in flesh. To save your life and restore the family's honor, you must perform yubitsume. You place your left hand on a wooden table. You take a razor-sharp blade. Without making a sound, you sever the tip of your own pinky finger. You wrap the piece in silk and present it to your boss. He accepts it. You are forgiven, but you are marked forever. Every time you shake a man's hand from now on, he will look at your missing finger and know exactly what kind of man you are. You've officially entered the world of the violent ones. Level 4. The Kyodai. You've paid your debts in blood and bone. Your missing finger is a badge of honor, proof that you can endure what others can't. You are promoted to Kyodai, the big brother. You are no longer the one taking orders from the street. You are the one giving them. You've moved from the sidewalk into the office. You now have your own crew of recruits to manage. You look at them and see yourself 5 years ago, young, hungry, and expendable. You treat them with a mix of mentorship and iron discipline. If they succeed, you look good. If they fail, it's your neck on the line. This is where the business gets complicated. You start managing front companies, construction firms, waste management, or real estate agencies. You aren't just a criminal anymore. You're a dark businessman. You spend your mornings in boardrooms and your nights in back rooms. Your Irizumi is almost complete. A sprawling masterpiece of dragons and cherry blossoms now covers your entire back and chest. It is a hidden armor that costs more than a luxury car and hundreds of hours of agonizing pain. It tells everyone in the underworld exactly how much you have suffered for the family. You have respect. You have a luxury car. You have a stable income. But you also have a target on your back. To the police, you're a high-value target. To rival clans, you're a threat that needs to be removed. You've traded the chaos of the streets for the paranoia of the elite. You've made it. But the higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes. Level 5. The Shategashira. You are now a Shategashira, the lieutenant. You don't manage a crew anymore. You manage a territory. An entire district of the city is your kingdom. Every illegal transaction, every underground casino, and every protection contract in this zone belongs to you. You are a ghost to the public. You no longer walk the streets. You traverse them in armored sedans with tinted windows. Your days are spent in high-stakes negotiations. You meet with white-collar criminals, bankers, lawyers, and politicians who help you wash your black money into white, legitimate profits. Corruption is your primary weapon. You don't need to break windows anymore. You buy the people who write the laws. You put local police chiefs on your payroll and fund the campaigns of city officials. You've learned that a well-placed bribe is more powerful than 1,000 bullets. You live a double life. To the world, you are a successful executive consultant with a quiet office. But the moment you take off your suit, the dragon on your skin reminds you of the truth. You are a criminal aristocrat. You have reached the level where your name is whispered in fear by your enemies and in reverence by your men. But the view from the top is chilling. The government has formed a special task force just for you. They don't want the thugs on the street. They want the architect. You've become too big to ignore. And in this world, being a big target means your life can end with a single signature from a judge or a single betrayal from a jealous rival. Level 6. The Wakagashira. You are now the Wakagashira, the first lieutenant. In the eyes of the family, you are the second in command. In the eyes of the street, you are the one who actually runs the war. While the big boss sits in his palace, you are the one in the trenches, making the decisions that move millions. Your job is diplomacy through strength. When two rival clans start a war over a drug route, you are the mediator. You sit at the table with men who want to kill you, and you negotiate a peace that favors your family. You speak softly, but everyone knows that behind your words is an army of 1,000 soldiers waiting for your signal. You are a master strategist. You don't just commit crimes, you create systems. You coordinate the movement of precursor chemicals from overseas, manage the underground banking systems, and ensure the family's political influence remains unshakable. You are the CEO of a shadow corporation that doesn't exist on paper. The pressure is immense. Every mistake made by a low-level recruit eventually lands on your desk. You've had to perform Yubitsume a second time, not for your own mistake, but to take responsibility for the failure of your men. Your hand is a map of your sacrifices. You aren't just a member of the family, you are the family. But at this height, you are never alone. The police have a 24-hour surveillance team dedicated to your every move. The younger, hungry lieutenants below you are calculating how long it will take for you to slip up so they can take your seat. You are the right hand of the king. But the right hand is always the first one to be cut off when the law comes calling. Level 7. The Psychokomon. You have reached the rank of Psychokomon, the senior advisor. You are no longer a soldier or even a general. You are the brain. You've survived the street wars and the prison stints that killed your peers. Now your weapon isn't a baseball bat or a pistol, it's the law. You are the architect of the gray zone. You spent your youth breaking laws. Now you spend your days finding the loopholes in them. You manage the family's most legitimate-looking assets, multi-billion-dollar real estate developments, public works contracts, and tech startups. You move in the same circles as CEOs and governors. They know who you are, but you've made yourself so useful that they can't afford to let you fall. You are a master of economic warfare. When the family needs to take over a rival territory, you don't send hitmen, you buy the rival's debt. You manipulate the local economy until your enemies have no choice but to surrender their businesses to you. You've realized that owning the bank is better than robbing it. You are a living bridge between two worlds. To the young recruits, you are a legendary ghost from the old days. To the legitimate world, you are a respectable philanthropist. But the cost of this life is total isolation. You can't go to the public gym, you can't use a credit card in your own name, and your friends are only people you've bought. You are the most protected man in the syndicate, but you are also the most vulnerable. You know where all the bodies are buried. You know every bribe, every murder, and every secret account. That makes you the ultimate prize for the government. They don't want to kill you, they want you to talk, and your own family knows that if you ever do, the entire empire crumbles. Level 8. The Kumicho. You have done it. You are the Kumicho, the supreme chairman. You started in a rainy alley with nothing, and now thousands of men swear their lives to you. Your name is spoken in whispers across the country. You don't just run a gang, you run a shadow nation with its own laws, its own economy, and its own justice. Your power is absolute. You no longer raise your voice, and you never have to raise a hand. A slight nod from you can build a skyscraper or burn a neighborhood to the ground. You are a king who rules by respect and terror. But at this level, power isn't about what you can do, it's about what you can endure. You live in a golden cage. You reside in a massive compound with 20-foot walls walls, armed guards, and state-of-the-art surveillance. You haven't walked a public street in 10 years. You can't go to a restaurant, you can't visit a park, and you can't even attend your own family's weddings or funerals. To the world, you are a god. To yourself, you are a prisoner. Paranoia is your only constant companion. You trust no one, not your advisors, not your bodyguards, not even your own children. You've seen too many kings betrayed by their loyal right hands. You spend your nights reading intelligence reports, looking for the first sign of a coup or a government informant within your inner circle. You have billions in the bank, but you can't spend a cent of it on a peaceful life. You have reached the absolute top of the mountain, only to realize there is nowhere else to go but down. You are the most powerful criminal in the country, and the most hunted man on earth. You've won the game. Now, you're just waiting for the check to arrive. Level 9. The Ghost. This is how it ends. There are only two retirements in this life: the concrete box or the wooden one. Maybe the government finally built a case that even your lawyers couldn't break. Or maybe a younger, hungrier version of yourself decided it was time for a change in leadership. If you're lucky, you spend your final years in a Japanese Type 1 prison. Total silence. No talking to other inmates. No eye contact with guards. You had an empire that moved millions. Now you have a plastic bowl and a thin blanket. You have plenty of time to look at your hands and wonder if 2 missing fingers were worth the silence. If you aren't lucky, you become a johatsu, a person who evaporated. You are excommunicated. The family takes your money, your car, and your protection. You wander the streets of the city you once ruled, but now no one bows. You are a ghost with a past too dark for the light and a future that doesn't exist. But the Yakuza doesn't die with you. As you fade away, a new 18-year-old kid is standing in that same rainy alley in Shinjuku. He sees a black car drive by. He sees the power, he sees the gold, and he makes the same choice you did. The cycle of blood and honor never stops. The names change, the faces change, but the mountain of bodies only grows higher. You were a king, you were a legend. Now you're just a cautionary tale for the next wolf. This is the life. This is the Yakuza.